Okay, continuing on at 12-33 and looking at the P, the first of the 4 P's, product. Products are updated all the time, and they need to be updated all the time, because if they're not, and they don't keep up with technology and demands of consumers, they just won't sell anymore. New product development is the need to expand and survive. New product development is expensive, it's risky, and there's long time horizons. In fact, only 1 in 50 new product ideas ever reach the market. Many products just die in the lab, in the manufacturing plant. They just don't get there. Something else that's really important is speed to market. Companies are anxious to get their products on the market because they don't make any money in the lab and while they're manufacturing. They want to get the products out on the shelf, consumers buying them. The faster the better. There are absolutely 2 important reasons to do product development. The first reason is to stay ahead of competition. A very good reason to develop new products, number 1, stay ahead of competition. And the second reason is to meet consumer demand, to absolutely meet the demand of consumers. Again, if you don't, your competitors will. Okay, the product life cycle is a concept. It's a very interesting concept. And the product life cycle concept suggests that products have a limited profit-producing life. Products have a limited profit-producing life. The product life cycle can be months, years, or even decades. It depends on the product. Okay, so here is the product life cycle graph. There's 4 stages in the product life cycle, and the products pass through the life cycle sort of like that. The first stage in the product life cycle is introduction. And in the introduction stage, that's actually where products are introduced to the market. Now, what consumers want in this stage is they want their product to take off and get to the next stage. The product life cycle introductory phase is characterized by limited competition. Costs have been very high, so prices are going to be high. I Googled and I found some products that were in this stage. And one I found was 3D TVs. I also found holographic projection, which is where you can make any flat screen a touch screen. You may remember Google Glasses. Google Glasses were introduced to the market, but they actually didn't take off, and they fell and died in this stage because they were too expensive, they didn't do what they were supposed to do, and they just didn't get to the next stage. Another example that I found that's in the introductory stage of the product life cycle is pet condoms. Now, I'm not going to talk any more about it other than to say it's in the introductory stage. Okay, the second stage in the product life cycle is growth. And in the growth stage, sales are really taken off. There probably is new entries. Prices probably also need to come down. When I Googled this stage, I found iPads and other tablets. I'm on my second iPad which was the same price as my first iPad. The third stage in the product life cycle is maturity. And maturity is where marketers want to be. The market's aggressive, profits are stable, sales are stable. The longer you can stay here, the better. Now, when I Googled for the maturity stage, I found that iPhones are in this stage, which is great for Apple and Apple stock. Now, there are 3 anomalies they're considered that are right here, and they've been there for 75 years. And if we were in class now, you would get this. But I'll help you a little. 2 are toys. What 2 toys have been around 75 years? I play with them, you play with them, your kids are going to play with them. 1 is Lego. Sometimes to get it in class, I got to say, if you tread on one, you know you tread on it. Barbie is 1. And the other one is something that you drink, and it's red and white. And that'd be Coke. These are considered to be 3 anomalies. They're at the top of this phase and been so for 75, 80 years. The final stage in the product life cycle is called decline. And decline is when the product actually leaves the market. There's no advertising done, sales profits are reducing, promotion gets stopped. VCRs are here. Well, you might not even know what a VCR is, but a Blu-ray is here too. Now, another thing to tell you about the product life cycle, sometimes a product actually passes through, it's gone, and then it comes back years later, passes through again. And that is, I can think of one, is the Cabbage Patch doll. I had a Cabbage Patch doll, probably the first Cabbage Patch doll. But you probably had the 2nd generation or 3rd generation. The Cabbage Patch doll has passed through here a few times. Furby is another one I think that's passed through at least twice. Developing a good product is only one part of a marketer's job. Identifying products in the minds of consumers is another part. One way of identifying products in the consumer's mind is branding. And branding is the use of symbols, logos to communicate a product. If we were in the classroom, I would have you shout out the top brands in the world, and I'd write them there. And I'd write them nice and big so that I'd help you fill out the board. And then when I got them all up there, I would tell you how they ranked. Apple is the #1 brand in the world. Google is the #2 brand in the world. Microsoft #3, Coca-Cola 4. Now you might say, where's Pepsi? #29. Facebook is 5. The first automobile to make that list is Toyota at #6. Toyota is the #1 automobile dealer in the world. Toyota will do anything to stay #1. Some more that you're familiar with, Disney is 8, McDonald's is 9, Amazon is 12, Walmart is 22. The Royal Bank is the first Canadian company to make the list at 98. Okay, almost finished chapter 12. Gaining brand awareness can happen a few ways. One way is product placement. We talked about that already. A promotional tactic for brand exposure, like somehow getting the brand in the minds of consumers. You see it on TV and you're like, I'm having one of them. Or that's what happens to me. Buzz marketing, you know a lot more about than I do. Buzz marketing is word of mouth. It's powerful, it can be good or bad, and it travels fast and far. Buzz marketing and viral marketing, social networking, these two can almost go together. Up-to-date, fast, very wide-reaching, inexpensive. People rely on the internet to get information because it's interactive. Years ago on Facebook, I'm a hamburger person, and years ago on Facebook there was a new hamburger place downtown. I forget what it's called now, but it was supposed to have the greatest hamburgers, and they were like this high. But I saw on Facebook that it was terrible, and I never went there. Anyway, they were around a few years and then they went out of business, but I never went there because I was influenced by what I saw on Facebook. There are 4 types of brand names. The first one is national, which we've talked about. And had I filled out the board, they would all be national brands. Kellogg's, Harley Davidson, Sobeys, Sony, IBM, Coke, Coors. They're all national brands. Private brands would be like President's Choice for Dominion, Kirkland for Costco, Life for Shoppers Drug Mart. Sobeys has Compliments. Generic brands are the no-name brands. Like you can see peanut butter, bacon is less expensive, no frills, no advertising. The ketchup could be made by Heinz, I don't know. It doesn't tell you because it's a generic brand. And finally, licensed brands. And licensed brands are when 2 big companies go together and they come up with an arrangement, and there's an arrangement for their agreement to go together. Like sometimes you'll see Disney characters on t-shirts and other items. In my house we have Paw Patrol Band-Aids. Well, we also got Hello Kitty Band-Aids for somebody else. Sometimes you'll see a Nike t-shirt with a Ferrari logo. That's licensed where 2 companies go together. Finally, packaging. Packaging is the physical container for the product. Packaging is really important for 2 reasons. It reduces the damage and the tampering. And number 2, it makes the product more attractive. Now, I complain about the packaging because there's such a waste of money and it adds to the recycling. But on the other hand, I don't want to buy something if the package has been tampered with. Labeling in Canada has to adhere to federal government legislation to protect and inform consumers. And I think we talked about that in Chapter 2. Okay, that is it. Chapter 12, done. Next time you see me, we'll be talking about Chapter 13.